Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the Spirit. Hold on 1 second. Brother had uploaded a post. And that's the Spirit because I actually have a video. It's like a 26-second video of a clip of a chariot flying past the trade centers during the time of the Nueve Once. And basically, it comes out years later that wasn't even the case of planes hitting buildings. But in fact, you got several footages out there speaking that there was holograms or some type of hologram, or it's a lot of speculation out there. People mentioning that building 7, how it collapsed, and you had particular crews that was in place a day or two before, and they was telling certain important people to not come down to work in Manhattan and giving them evacuation orders that something big was going to go down. And it was so funny and show how stupid the American fucking people are, is because if you have all this activity going downtown Manhattan, and then the next day a proverbial event takes place, don't people have the common decency to know 2 + 2, like maybe this was some type of inside attack? Okay, I think what's the guy name that owned the buildings? I think his name was Silverstein or something like that. I think he cashed out like 100 billion in insurance money when that happened, in insurance dollars, so to speak, when that already took place. And find out that the elites was watching the whole thing go down. And the crazy part about it is, I believe like not too long thereafter, the apostles was arrested and charged with terrorism or domestic terrorism, because, like I said, they was going to try to label us extremists because they lied and said that Arabs brought down the whole ordeal, and they started this whole war on terror with this guy Osama bin who. And I started up a whole false war on terror just to hide the true narrative. But this is the Spirit, because I was reading this from a post, and this is from Major General, and this is a quote. He said, "I saw a missile hitting the Pentagon." Okay, it wasn't no damn plane. For one thing, planes don't topple buildings. If a plane was to crash into a skyscraper, it may knock like the top half of it off, but the whole building is not gonna topple behind that. Okay, that's impossible, because those steel beams, they go so many feet underground to the point it holds the building in place. So in case something does happen, the building won't collapse. But instead, they saw that they had demolition crews out there that was in the vicinity that mentioned that when those towers went down, then all of a sudden other towers around it collapsed because they pulled it down. Like when you look at a demolition crew and when they blow up a building, you can tell the difference between of an explosion or if somebody's detonating some type of charge that pulls the building down versus it toppling over. Okay, but he says, "I saw missiles hitting the Pentagon, not a plane." But it says all the sensors were turned off after that one day, or after that day. One apparently did not turn off, and it shows this object hits the Pentagon, and it did not look like an airplane. It says that each floor, successive puffs of smoke are seen all the way down. It says those puffs of smoke are due to controlled demolition, as like I was saying. It says controlled demolitions. It says the collapse of the Twin Towers were caused by a controlled demolition. This is why people stated that there were crews in the area prior to this whole ordeal, like a day or two. And some people even report that they was down there for like a week or so, because if you have a demolition crew intact, you have to have inspectors in there. You have to know if the building is safe. You have to. It's a lot that goes into it. You don't just hire a crew to say, all right, we're going to topple this skyscraper. No, they had fire marshals down there. They had military men, police officers, secret. They had all types of people down there because it was all planned. Okay, and when you go into like a lot of these movies, even The Simpsons even predicted that this whole ordeal was going to be a inside hope. And then you have a still here. It says 23 years later, still waiting on the security camera footage of the plane hitting the Pentagon. And they're not going to give it to you because, for the simple fact, it's all lies and bullshit. Okay, I think over 3,000 people lost their lives that day, and not to mention the crews down there and the type of damage that caused in downtown Manhattan. Millions of dollars of damage, billions of dollars in damage. People buried under the rubble. You had two options, either jump or fucking burn to death. So you was fucked either way. You know, but this man Esau, hey, he's being caught. He's been exposed by his own counsel. Okay, so I have like a 26-second video, and I believe this is on the same day as Nueve Once. Okay?
World Trade Center. That's the same thing. What is that? It's over there.
Wow. Now that was either a missile or a chariot, but I believe this is prior to the buildings going down. If I'm wrong enough about that, Salakia, but I'm guessing that this has something to do with the before the towers collapsed, because you have to understand Yahweh Shai is in the midst of everything. Okay, before something goes down, the Lord, he sends his counsels to kind of survey it. And the spirit, because they had old footages that once the buildings collapsed, you saw like demonic figures or like apparitions in the smoke. And I remember one time Apostle Gabar, he brought out the account and he showed the footage of it looked like a bearded man with a crown on his head sitting on a throne in the midst of the smoke, which it appeared to be an apparition of Yahweh Shai, man. So this is not too far-fetched to have the angels in motion prior to this whole ordeal going down, man, all right? So let's look at
that. World Trade Center. That's the same thing. What is that?
Wow.
It's over there.
Look like a chariot. Peep that, look. Look like a so-called UFO. Bam. Look how it took off. And it went into the sky. Now, I don't know if that was a missile or a chariot. And I don't know if chariots lead jet. But chariots, you know, it's been videos of chariots leaving, you know, like trails behind it as well, you know. Because anything is possible with Yahweh Shai. Now, like I said, I don't know if this was the day of or this was prior to it going down. But I do know this had to be around the vicinity of it. And now Esau is being exposed because, like I said, man, people are waking up to the bullshit. So this is the book of Psalm 64. And I'm going to start at verses... Let's start at verses 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. Okay, they commune of laying snares privately. And they say, who shall see them? Yeah, because the council of the elite, they do things in dark, man. Okay, they have their particular councils. They have their particular summits. Like they had this thing in Davos last year in Switzerland, Davos. And a summit goes into like the highest peak of mountains, you know, or like the highest peak. Because like when the elites, or even when Jake came together to consult of their deities and their wickedness, they often did things in high retreats, man. Okay, Jake did shit in secret too. They hid themselves in the groves and so forth and worship other gods. And even among Esau, when they have their councils, they have it up high or underground. Okay, which is summit means like the top mountain peak to that degree. But it reads here, it says they encourage themselves in an evil matter, and they commune of laying snares privately, and they say, who shall see them? And they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, and both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, which goes into the mind. Okay, that word heart in the Hebrew goes into the Hebrew word lab, which means your mind. Okay, because Esau have think tanks within these particular governments that come up with these scenarios or these possibilities, and they play them out with an ultimate outcome. Okay, and when the World Trade Centers went down in 2001, that was the beginning of the war on what they would consider terror. And this is when the NDAA Act 2 came into official legislation, so to speak, or it came into fruition, so to speak. Meaning that every United States citizen is declared the T word, meaning that all your rights and your civil rights, and really that day is when your Constitution really went out the window. Okay, from that day forward, even prior to that, they have been chipping away at the Constitution. Even prior to that, when Bill Clinton got in office, and he implemented Title 4D under the color of law, which the color of law is not actual law. Okay, but they get away with imposing legal or legality fines on people that oppose their shakedown or their madness or their their extortion, you know. But it says here, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them, the heart is deep, but the Most High should shoot at them with the arrow, which the arrow is this truth. Suddenly they should be wounded, and they are wounded. And next lesson, I want to go into that interview that Candace Owens did with that rabbi, that Amalekite, man, which he basically cried victim all over the goddamn platform. And she cut his ass up, man. One thing about Candace Owens, as much of a demon and a sellout she is, hey, that's a sharp bitch, man. She's sharp. And she don't look too bad either. You know what? I claim Candace Owens in the kingdom, man. You know, I'll take her on, man. You know, because on this side, she's going to be destroyed because she done fucked a lot of Jake's heads up, man. And she done a lot of damage to our people, you know. And she's with the so-called white man. But, you know, I'll take on in the kingdom. Why not? You know, she's not a bad-looking woman. I always thought she was a decent-looking woman, but she was just a demon. But nonetheless, she shook that Amalekite to the core, to the point they defunded her. They suspended our YouTube channel. And they getting ready to ostracize our ass because you can't speak out against them rat fucking bastards that call themselves us. All right, but you fucking people, I can't. You Amalekites, you are the worst of the worst. And I can't wait till Yahweh Shai comes back and put the chains on you, man, because you got to be stopped. All your crying and cyberbullying and coming up with this wicked legislation to fuck people's lives up when you're the one that should be scrutinized, man. You know? But it says here they should make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them should flee away, right? And hey, this guy, Major General, hey, he's an insider, man. Okay, in order to be a Major General in the U.S. Pentagon or the United States military, hey, this dude is juiced in, man. He's an insider, and he's bringing it out on you goddamn devils. But it says here, and all the men should fear and should declare the work of the Most High, for they should wisely consider his doings, because each and every last one of these men that's on these podcasts, you know, like what's this guy's name, that own Natural News, I think his name is Mark Adams or some shit like that. I forgot his name. Mike Adams, yeah. And then you got what's this guy's name, David Hodges, you know, Alex. All these men claim to be doing the work of God, because this Mike Adams dude, I was listening to a 2-hour podcast last night of him, and he was going into how the MPOX is gonna be, you know, targeted to the Momo community and all this other shit. And basically after that sermon, he went into like a whole sermon of Bible, prophecy, and archaeology, and you know, what do you call it, geography, and all this other stuff. So they think that they're actually doing an act of the Most High, in which they're not. But the Lord is using them in some way to expose their own people, though the Lord is not directly dealing with them. You know, this is the book of Job 5, and I'm gonna start at verses 11. It says, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. That's us. But he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the fort is carried headlong. Yeah, okay, because hey, they're being exposed by their own people. All right, matter of fact, this is Job, I think it's 18 and 7 when it goes into that. Yep, Job 18, and I'm gonna start at verses 5. It says, yea, the light of the wicked should be put out, and the spark of his fire should not shine. The light should be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle should be put out with him, which his candle goes into his wisdom, his knowledge, man. Okay, his illuminated ones. And the steps of his strength should be straightened, and his own counsel should cast him down. Because all these documentaries that came out about Nueve Once, hey, they were all Edomites for the most part. Okay, and the steps of his strength should be straightened, and his own counsel should cast him down, for he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. Okay, so Esau's fucked. He's done, you know. But anyway, I gotta cut it short, Akim, man. I got an appointment to be at 1:30, giving all praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you were edified. Until the next lesson, Shalom.